Okay, ladies and gents, I want to welcome you all to this conversation on leadership and mindset as it pertains to success. And we're going to talk about those three things. And I understand that success is going to be unique to each of you in terms of what your particular goals are. But I guarantee you, if you follow this conversation and really take notes and pay attention, you're going to get some elements that can impact your life no matter what you're aspiring to. But more importantly, it's important to know who the movers and shakers are in business on a global scale. So without further ado, I'm very excited. This young man, Mr. Bryce Thompson, I came across his story through a very good friend of mine who is a business partner of Bryce's. And I just wanted to get his story out into the world. And for those of you that might be part of I'll call it the corporate sector, if you will. Sometimes we're not always privy to everything that's happening in the entrepreneurial sector. And sometimes we can cross pollinate. And this is one of those opportunities. That's why we're creating this content for you to add value to you in terms of what you want to do, if it's a promotion, if it's a better salary on your job, or if you're looking for ways to expand your financial portfolio. So, Mr. Bryce Thompson, give us a little bit of background on yourself. Where are you from? And give us that journey up until you arrived at that most prestigious college, Morehouse College.
Okay, great. Well, Bryce Thompson. Welcome everybody that's listening in or that's gonna watch this, later or a few days from now. I'm from Missouri City, Texas. Grew up there pretty much my whole life. Played ball pretty much my whole life. I went on Westbury Christian High School in Houston, close to downtown Houston, not too far. When it came time to go to college, I had a decision of whether or not I wanted to stay home or go off. And my decision was to stay home. I actually applied to Prairie View A&M, got a full ride there, went on a visit and everything. My best friend was going on to play ball there. So I had already pretty much made my decision. But, it kind of made me feel weird because I wanted something like, not saying Prairie View is not a wow factor, because it is. It was more so just the fact that I wanted that prestigious feel. And I also wanted to stay home at the same time. So I kind of wanted to get, both worlds, right? And, I told my mom that, and she kind of knew exactly what type of person I was. I graduated literally top 10 students of my high school class. I was always made good grades. So I just wanted to have that same prestigious feel going on in the college. And my mom actually applied to Morehouse for me. So she applied to Morehouse for me, and, I just did the essay. So I ended up getting into Morehouse, and I also ended up getting into, this prestigious like pre-college program. So I ended up going to the pre-college program during the summer before college, and I was sold on it. I'm like, I love Atlanta. I love the school. Like, I can't wait to go here. And it was a school that I didn't even want to go to. I heard it was all boys, so really wasn't for me. But my mom ended up applying for me, and it gave me that prestigious feel. So that's why I ended up going on to college. Pretty much met all of the people I call my brothers now. I pledged the fraternity Kappa Alpha Psi there my junior year.
Okay.
So I built a lot of relationships, and I met a lot of people that have been instrumental in a significant reason for my success today.
You said you were playing ball. What sport?
Basketball.
Okay. And did you take that out beyond high school? Or did you call it a
Nah. No, so my junior year, I had always planned to go on to college. That was my plan from the jump. But going into my junior year, I ruptured a disc in my lower back, and I played on it my whole junior year. So when it came time to my senior year, I didn't even pass the physical because my back was it was permanently damaged. So I ended up having to just lay low as far as basketball is concerned.
Okay. So you enter Morehouse, and did did you know what you wanted to do in terms of major and all of that?
Yeah, definitely. So my older brother Brandon, same guy you asked me about, he was engineer major, right? He had literally got a full-time offer at the Boeing company. I think he had like 1 year left in school when I was going into school. So I'm like, man, I want to, that's the one major I can take on that's gonna help me, or that's gonna position me to make good money once I come out of school. And I was already good at math, so it just seemed like that would be the best fit for me. But yeah, I was an engineer major.
Okay. And at what point did you get introduced to business and opportunity beyond the scope of your academic circle?
Very young. Very young. Both of my parents are entrepreneurs. Um, as far as like the industry that I'm in right now, I've been exposed to it pretty much my whole life. Like my parents my mom was in Melaleuca at one point.
Okay.
My dad was in Five Links. He built a pretty big organization in Five Links.
Wow. Okay.
My my dad was also my dad and my stepmom was also an artist. They actually gave me a position in artist. I didn't know what it was, but I used to go to like, they used to have home events and things like
Yeah.
that. So I was always around it, always saw
Get
the
out of here.
presentations. Yeah,
Wow.
which is
Okay.
weird. And my older brother, he was in Five Links as well. So I had watched him do presentations a few times, before I actually got into the industry myself. But, when I actually got into it to where I knew what I was getting myself into,
Mhm.
it was my junior year going into my senior year. I was working an internship in Cleveland, for this engineering company. I was a manufacturing engineer intern. And I had already this was my first time making good money for the first time, like as an intern. So I
Yeah.
was excited about it. But as soon as I, made some money from that internship, I realized that my internship was only 3 months. Like, after the internship, it's like, well, how else are you going to make money once you go back to school? So my brother, he introduced me to like Forex, right? That was like the first thing that before even the industry, he introduced me to like investing and things like that. So, I started investing more so before I even was interested in, the network marketing or the building side of things. So once I made some money investing, I was, super duper excited about it because I had never done it before. And, I started telling some of my closest friends about it. Like I knew that, would want to make money, that would want to, invest the money that they were making from their internship. And from there, that's when I kind of got involved by default in the building and in the network marketing side of it, because it was all natural. I wasn't even trying to, you know, build a business. It was more so like I'm just showing my friends how they could make money too. So it ended
Yeah.
up, something small ended up becoming something super duper massive.
Wow. Now, how are you negotiating your business track with your education track? Had you planned on getting more education beyond Morehouse? Did you have an idea of getting a job right out of school? Like, how were you negotiating that space?
Yeah, definitely. So I would I would say, after my intern, they actually offered me a full-time job. My internship, they offered me $105,000 a year.
Wow.
And by the time that they offered me that, I was making 60,000 a year in the industry.
Okay.
So, I'm gonna be honest, it wasn't even a tough decision for me because, I understood, with the industry, it's like, okay, even though I'm making less than 105,000, I can, put in my own effort and make $105,000 a month.
Yeah.
So, I realized like, okay, cool. Even though I'm making money from this job, I'm gonna just turn it down so I can put all my effort and my attention into something that can make me 10 times that much. So, after my fourth year at Morehouse, I kind of understood I'm gonna just go full fledged in the business and still try to go to school, because I ended up transferring to North Carolina A&T to finish out my dual degree program because I was a dual major. So I was a physics and engineering major. So that means
Wow.
at Morehouse, you got to transfer. Well, you should know. You
Yep.
went to Morehouse. Yeah,
Yep.
you should know. So you have to do your physics side at Morehouse, and then you have to go on to another university to finish out the engineering portion of it.
Okay, yeah, because my friends at Spelman, they did the Georgia Tech program, dual degree. Okay, so you finish your degree, but while you're finishing your degree, you're also actively engaged in building your business pretty consistently at that point?
Yeah, I was a part-time student. I was pretty much a part-time student. Like at that point, I was making a lot of money. Once I reached the six-figure mark,
Yep.
that's when I really became a part-time student. I really stopped focusing in class. I was showing up to class late. I was not living a balanced life as far as school was concerned. So, and a lot of people ask me, how was I balanced in school? I wasn't.
Yeah.
I wasn't balanced in school. I was 99% this business and 1% school. It got to that point. And, I understood, like, as much I had made good grades and literally graduated top of my class in high school. So it was a hard decision for me once I got to the six-figure mark. But I'm like, if I really want to go, super duper high places as far as the industry is concerned, I'm gonna have to take a semester off.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened. Spring 2019 was the first semester that I actually took a semester off from school, and literally I only needed 16 credits to graduate.
Okay.
So that was a tough decision for me, but I'm glad I made it.
Yeah.
Because that semester was the one semester that my life really changed.
Okay.
Honestly.
Business-wise.
Yeah, definitely.
How was the response from your family? Were they supportive? Were they resistant, or a little bit of both?
They were. I'm gonna be honest. It was a little weird for them. In my opinion, it was weird for my mom because she knew. My mom never had to be on me about school, never had to make me do my homework, never had to check my report card or things like that to make sure I was making good grades. I just did it on my own. Like I wanted to do well. I wanted to be the best in the class. That was my personality, like naturally. So she never had to do that. So once I told her that, she was kind of confident with my decision because she knew how much I wanted to do well and graduate from school on my own. So it was supported. And as far as my dad, he's the same way. Like he understood, like, are you sure you want to do that? Like it was more so like a surprise. Like that don't even sound like, a decision that I would make. But,
Right.
they knew that I was making a lot of money, for my age and at that time. So I guess they trusted
You
it.
would make a lot of money for any age. So listen,
Well, at
if
that
you're
time
six figures, yeah, you're
I was
already in the
making 10
top
grand a
10.
month. Yeah.
Yeah, you're already in the top 10% of income earners. So Bryce, a lot of people get exposed to opportunities. Yes, babe.
Look, I made a tower.
Okay, give me a minute. I'm in the middle of something. A lot of people that get exposed to a business opportunity in the midst of college, where you are, first of all, college is it's a soft, cushy environment. It's nice. It's very well manicured. You have your schedule. There's a certain level of comfort, and we know that most people are going to college because they feel like if I do the right things and get good grades, I'm going to have a really nice, secure job coming out. What made you have the belief in the opportunity? Do you think it was because you grew up and you already had some exposure to the profession, or was it a combination of that and just your own desire to be and do something more, something different?
I'm gonna be honest. As far as me being exposed to it early on, I don't even think that had anything to do with it early on. I think later on now it makes a lot of sense because naturally and unconsciously,
Yeah.
that was something that I was exposed to. So it becomes of me when I start doing it myself.
Right.
But more so, I would say the desire. Early on, high school. For me, I was super competitive, and I would say like some of the people that I was around as a teenager, I've been around a lot of different success stories, and not necessarily in the industry, but in other industries. I've seen, some people that are close to me become, very successful in their specific fields. Like when I say successful, I'm not talking about like six figure. I'm talking about tens of millions of dollars. Like I've been around it. Like I've seen it, especially as far as like athletics are concerned. I've seen a lot of people close to me, reach a high level in sports to where they're playing professionally. And for me, that's like, that was my goal at one point. That was my dream. Like I wanted to play professionally. I wanted to make a lot of money doing it. So when I got introduced to this, when I got introduced to something that can give me those same results, especially finance wise, I took it because I understood, like, if I could see one person do it, whether they're in this industry or not, for me, naturally, I just fully believe that I can do it too. At least I can make that type of money. And with this, it's like, I just needed a vehicle to do it. I needed a vehicle that would get me those type of results. So this was the first time that I got introduced to something that can make me tens of millions of dollars. Yeah. And just looking at the compensation plan, I'm like, I can do that. I've seen somebody my age. I've seen people my age literally sign $10 million contracts like early on. So I understood, like, that was my contract. Looking at that compensation plan, that was my contract. I just needed to sign it.
Okay. And with sports and your early experience with that, being a part of a team, understanding the importance of coaching and getting the best out of yourself, the discipline that's required, how much of that has played a part in your mindset for creating success in business?
Huge. And outside of sports, I would say, being in a fraternity as well. Okay. That's played a huge role because, and just to talk on, well, for one, basketball, growing up, like me and my brother would literally go in the garage and dribble until our hands hurt. Like we would literally go in the driveway and play one-on-one. Like he was older than me, so I was getting, a lot better. I was mentally getting stronger. Played AAU summer basketball my whole life, literally like full-fledged. That I ate, breathed, bled basketball pretty much my whole entire life. And then when I got to college, it was my first time not playing ball, so I needed something to substitute it. And at first, it was like making good grades. Okay, cool. I'm gonna be the best in the classroom. I'm gonna be at the top of the dean's list and things of that nature. Mm-hmm. Did that right. By my first year at Morehouse, literally like did really well academically. And then I started pledging the fraternity. Right, I started getting interested in some of the fraternities on campus and Kappa Alpha. So I knew that was the one for me. Just being around it. I'd never been around frats, but just some of the frat brothers that were on the yard at the time, it was the best fit for me. Period. What they stood for and everything. So I would say just being in a fraternity around like-minded individuals and brothers like that you care about and that you want to see do well, right? Mm-hmm. It was that just transferred over to this business, and it's definitely been a significant reason for my success. Most of the top leaders in my business right now are my frat brothers, which is funny. So
really,
yeah.
Okay, so when we talk about the business, so for those of you, we call it, some people call it network marketing or multi-level marketing or free enterprise, whatever you want to call it. It's basically the opportunity for you to create a business, set your own expectation, your own income goal, and you have every opportunity. It's an equal opportunity, provided that you're willing to put the work in to get it done. So you have this proximity of power experience, meaning because you've already been exposed and had relationships with people that are successful in other pathways, you knew that if they could do it, I could do it too. If I'm looking at a business opportunity and I got a friend over here that's making millions of dollars in this arena, I know I could do it here. Does that mean, Bryce, that when you got started, everybody saw it the same way that you did, and people were just saying, hey, I'm in, let's go. If you're doing it, I'm in, let's go. I'm ready to rock with you. Did you have that type of experience, like immediate success right out of the gates?
For one, I don't believe that everybody, is going to think the way that I did in the beginning. But I understood the way I thought in the beginning, and I try to get, my goal is to get people to that feeling of how I felt when I first got started. And sometimes it may not be when they first start.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to show somebody a little bit of success, or you got to get them to, a little bit. Sometimes people need a little more success than you to get that same level of belief. And, that's my overall goal. For me, I didn't need to get paid. I didn't need to see a huge amount of profit for me to believe that, I could do really well. I can be super duper successful. I just needed to see a plan. I needed to see a vehicle. And once I understood it was going to be based off of my own effort, I'm like, okay, cool, let's go. All right. But, for other people, it's like, okay, cool. Maybe I need to grandfather you in. Like, maybe I need to, get you to a point of experiencing certain things that I've experienced that have made me feel and believe the way that I do. So I try to, I backtrack my success a lot, and I think about things that made me feel motivated. I think about certain experience I've had that inspired me. And I try to give everybody that comes into my business or that I directly bring in those same experiences. And, based off those experiences, I've seen it help, and I've seen that level of belief, shoot right into people just based off of that.
You said something that I thought was really, really powerful when it comes to vision and belief. You talked about when you were in Cleveland, and you have a picture of it on your Instagram account. What's your Instagram handle?
I_B Thompson.
I_B Thompson. So if you all want to look at this, it's really, it's very powerful. You talked about being in Cleveland during the internship. You talked about you hadn't really done anything yet. You hadn't really started building your business. I think you might have made a few dollars. It was nothing to speak of, but you knew in your mind that it was done. Like you knew you had already started thinking at that point, and you started posting at that point from the perspective of someone that was already there. Like you were literally living in your future. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, definitely. I would say as I was never one of those people that's like, let me dab my feet in the water and test the water out before I know that it's safe. As soon as I was given the opportunity, it was more so like I'm all in to, I think a lot of people, when they get introduced to this business or business in general, they're kind of like, they try to be very protective of their brand or very protective of, things that they're doing at that current time. And it slows them down as far as how fast they really could be moving. And for me, it was like, as soon as I found out about the compensation plan and everything like that, it's like, okay, cool. I need to be on Instagram. People need to know about this. Like this business is me. Right. And, when I go around people now, it's like when they talk to me, it's like the first thing that they talk about is my business, or they ask me about, how's the business going? How's Forex going? Oh, that's that Forex guy, or that's the money man. Right. Because that's all that I, posted about. That's everything that I talked about. I feel like people are in business, but a lot of times the business isn't in people. You know what I mean? So for me, right out the gate, I had instilled the business in me, and to the point where I'm a walking business. Like everything that I talk about, I don't even want to have a conversation if it's not about the business. It's going to be weird for me to hang out with you right now because you're not in my business. That's just how it was. It's like, I don't even know how to be around people right now unless you're in my business. And that's how it was early on. And I think to some degree, that's kind of what it takes, right? You gotta fully submerge yourself in it. Right now, I'm a lot more, I'm a lot more loose. Like I can be around people that's not in my business. It's not that big of a deal. I can hang out with you and things like that. But early on, it's like, I can't afford to even allow even one person to come around me speaking about something that's not going to help me move forward.
I'm so glad you said that, because I believe there's a double standard. Because when one of my friends is a sports agent, and he was working with Venus and Serena Williams when they first came on the scene, and he was with them for, he's still with Venus, but he was with the two of them as their agent for many, many years. And when they were on the tennis scene, it was all about that. And no one ever said, oh, they should finish, they should go to college, or they should get their degrees, or no one ever said that. They were like, wow, they're successful, they're making tons of money, they're playing tennis, and they were fully immersed in that world.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody gets involved in business, and one of Bryce's friends is like, yo, how come you don't want to hang out? No, you don't understand. I'm in my business. Like, I'm focused. So you better than me. You want to hang out with me? You all about your business. Like, all of a sudden, it becomes a problem if you're focused on your business. But if you were in entertainment, if you were a singer, or you were an athlete, everybody would be understanding. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, hey, that's a weird question, because I talk about this all the time. A lot of people, especially people that are close to you or that you've hung out with before, they're gonna feel like, they may say you changed, or they may say you switched up, and things like that. But I tell people now, it's not the fact that you changed, it may be the fact that they haven't changed, and they're just mad at you because you have changed, right? And I feel like everybody really wants to change and grow. So when you see somebody growing at a faster pace, or you see somebody changing for the better, it upsets you, because you feel like you're in the same position that you were in a few years ago, or back when y'all were in high school, middle school, things like that. Mm-hmm. But for me, like I said, I never really let it get to me. Just for the simple fact that I knew if like you were really close to me and you really supported me, you would understand, right? Because I tell people all the time, I don't do this just for me. So, and I feel like if I was just doing it for me, like, you could be a rapper or a professional athlete, industries like that, you could make a lot of money, you can have a lot of success, but it's not like you can really do anything to help other people have that same level of success. You can be an inspiration, but you can't really directly help anybody get the same level of success that you have. So with this industry, it's special because I can make a lot of money, I can reach a high level of success, but I can also focus on giving somebody the same opportunity that can get exactly to where I am, if not surpass me. So I feel like if you're really close to me, whether or not you think I changed, you should understand I'm not doing this just for myself. I'm doing this for my family. I'm doing this for people that I meet. I'm doing this for my friends. I'm showing so many different people that they can have the same opportunity as me. And the only difference between us is the day that we start.
Yeah,
that's the only difference.
That's 100%. When I was acting, and I remember a lot of my friends, I was doing a play on Broadway with Denzel, and then we did a movie together. Yeah, we did a movie together called Inside Man after that. So we were together for like 6 months.
You and Denzel?
Yeah. And
it's funny because you look like an actor. You got the actor look.
all my friends were like, they were fired up. And I remember feeling so powerless when I was in that profession, because I didn't have any power to give somebody else a job. It was always about my next job, my next gig, my next this, that, and the other. Same thing when I became a speaker. I couldn't bring my friends into that platform because that's a unique skill set. It wasn't until I got introduced to the profession of network marketing, like you said, I was like, man, so all of us can come up, all of us can eat, all of us can come up together as long as we're willing to put in the work. I fell in love with that concept right there. So I'm with you on that point 100%.
Definitely.
You talked about backtracking your business, and Steve Jobs did the graduate speech at Stanford. He talked about connecting the dots, but you can only do it when you look back. And you told another story about the watch. And I think this is important because I really think people don't give themselves enough permission to dream and to really be vivid and experience the dream. And I give out assignments. I'm like, listen, I want you to go sit in the car at the dealership. Go look at the house and take a picture. Like, have the experience of it.
Super
So talk
important.
about what you did, just a little example that you gave, but it was really potent with the watch.
Well, yeah. I remember I always looked at like for one, I was never in the jury. Growing up, like never seriously, like at all. I wasn't into jury until I until I had one, something on my wrist, right? And I would see it, being around successful people, being around people like David, right? You like pay attention to detail. Like you look at his shoes, you look at his clothes, and of course, you're gonna look at his watch. It is what it is. And once I started asking about it, I never knew how much certain things cost and things like that. So once I went into the jewelry store for the first time and I put a Rolex on my wrist, and I had one of my friends with me, and like just to see how he was looking at me with it on my wrist, he's like, yo, that's you. You got to get it. You got to get it.
Mhm.
I knew, like, at that point, I understood, like, yo, this feels good. Like, it feels good having this on my wrist. And at the time, I couldn't even afford it, right? I think I had enough money in the bank to buy it, but I couldn't afford it. Like, I just couldn't. So funny thing is, I would just, every time that I was in the area, I would stop by the jewelry store. I would just try it on over and over and over again. And honestly, it was subconscious. It wasn't like I was, like manifesting or things like that, but I was manifesting. I wasn't intentionally doing it. And, it got to the point where I would go back and that same watch would be in the jewelry store. It's like, why has nobody bought this yet? It was almost weird. And I feel like I did that probably for a good 6 months. And honestly, I ended up going to get a watch much cheaper before I even got that watch. Right? I was being young. I'm like, look, I want a Rolex. Even though it's not the one that I want right now, I just want a Rolex on my wrist.
Yeah.
So even having, that cheaper Rolex on, I would still go try on that one over and over and over again until eventually I had enough money. My business had grew, right? I was making a lot more money, like I said, and I ended up going to get it, cash.
Wow. You said something really important that I think some people might have missed it if they weren't paying close attention. You said, I had enough money in the bank to buy the watch, but I couldn't afford it. Talk about when people do come into money, why so many people part from their money quickly because they don't have financial stewardship and principles and they're not playing the long game.
Yeah, definitely. I just posted about this maybe like 2 days ago. I feel like getting the money, right? Making the money is the easy part. It's keeping it that's the hard part, right? It's maintaining it, and not just the money, your business too. Like, you could build a business, but maintaining it is the hard part. And I feel like, I'm grateful for the process, and everybody should be grateful for their process. Even, even the more harder your process is, the better, because once you get to where you want to go, or once you make the money, you're gonna know what to do with it, right? You're not gonna, make impulsive decisions. And like I said, even though I had the money to buy it, I had never had that amount of money in my account. So it was valuable to me. And I put in a lot of work to get there for me to just cash it out on one thing. So I understood, and, just from following people and listening to people that had the success I want and already made those mistakes, people like David, I'm like, look, if I can't buy this, 5-10 times over, I don't need to be getting it.
Right.
So, yeah, so like, that's why, I ended up getting a cheaper watch. I'm like, look, I'm still, at the end of the day, I'm still young, and I have to spend money. Like, I still want jewelry. I still want nice things. So like I said, I ended up getting a cheaper watch, but I knew in my head, as soon as I got that watch, I'm like, I'm going to trade this in the next 3 to 6 months. I'm going to come back and get the one I want.
That's good. That's good. So you've always been a high achiever? Do you feel, is that fair to say?
I mean, I think I've achieved well at a good
Grades, sports.
good place. Grades, I've always did well. Sports, I did well. Yeah, I mean, pretty much. I won't say I always achieved well in everything I've done, but I've always at least strived to achieve in everything that I do. Yeah,
Internal
if I
drive.
like it a lot, if I'm passionate about it, 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna try to reach at least some level of success. May not be the peak or may not be the highest level of success, but I want, some type of success.
So let's talk about one of the most important words in the English language as it pertains to success, period. And again, ladies and gentlemen, I understand maybe you don't want to buy a great watch or make millions of dollars. Maybe you just want to buy a new house for your family or get that promotion. But belief is that word. Talk about the levels for you, because, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, I'm guessing that you didn't necessarily, did you see the levels, all the levels that you've achieved up to this point, or were you believing for certain levels, and then when you got to the level you were able to believe for another level? How did that work for you?
Yeah, I would say, for one, and David and Manitier, like, I don't think anybody teaches on belief, the way that he does. I'm gonna be honest. It's almost incredible. But I would say, just after listening to him, if you can believe you can do something more than anybody else, you're gonna always have like results that other people may not. Right? I feel like you can work really, really hard. You can do everything that it takes, but if you don't have the level of belief that can, that you can actually do it, it's not gonna happen the way that you want. Right? You can work really hard, but you could be going nowhere really, really fast if you don't have the special ingredient, and that's belief. And for me, I don't think it, like you said, I don't think it was a set goal or a set amount or a specific position. It was more so like, I just believe I can do more every time that I hit it. Like, I feel like I'm built for more every time I, reach a new position, or every time I reach a new goal. It's like, okay, cool. I knocked that out the way. Let me change my screensaver to something else. let me post up a picture, of something else. Let me focus on the next goal. So, it's hard. It can be super hard to really stay down and always continuing for more. But if you're built for more, I feel like you'll never get comfortable. And even if you do get excited and want to bask in where you've gotten, it won't be for long.
Yeah.
It won't be for long at all until you're already working toward the next goal.
How much time and energy do you put into cultivating your belief in terms of what you read, what you listen to, what you watch, post in your home? How much of that is a part of your process?
It's a big part. I do it more now than I've ever done it. Just because it's like, okay, I've done the calls, I've done the webinars, I've done the events, I've worked really, really hard. Now it's like my level of my environment I have to make that even more special than I ever have before if I really want to reach even crazier results than I've already reached. But yeah, like I got goals posted around my house right now. My screensaver is, things I want to achieve, like literally right now. Yeah, I talk about it all the time. The people I surround myself with. Yeah. I don't really surround myself with people that aren't, striving for success. And if I do, it's almost like I can't do it for long. I gotta like change my environment immediately. I literally listen to, people that have the results that I want. I talk to David almost every day, seems like now. So I know that alone is like, me talking to him every day is like, it's really helping me, just because the simple fact, like the other day, we had both bought Bitcoin, like maybe like, well, he told me to buy some Bitcoin. I asked him like, what's some things that I should be investing in. He was like, yeah, I'm heavily invested in Bitcoin right now. And so I had bought a substantial amount, like, sorry, I was getting a call. I had bought a substantial amount like a few weeks ago, and I had like a $7,000-8,000 day, maybe like 3 days ago or 4 days ago. Like, and I was lit. I'm like happy. I'm like $7,000-8,000. I just put this money in like not even a month ago. Yeah. So I called him immediately, like, David, $7,000, $8,000 a day. And then he immediately was like, oh, that's congratulations. Let me show you the day I had. And at that point, I'm like, man, what? I'm not even going to put the amount, but trust me, it was like, wow, okay.
He sent me some of those messages. I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about.
I'm like, back to the drawing board. So it's like, if I'm always surrounding myself and talking to people like that, it's like, you can never get comfortable. Like, you can't. You're going to always strive for more.
That's so good. So here's one thing that you've mentioned, and I think sometimes, especially in this era of social media and fake book, people, it's very easy to portray whatever you want on social media versus what the reality of the work that's required. Talk about work ethic. Talk about the level of activity and actions that you know and that you lived in order to build up to a level of success in your business. What does that look like?
Every day. Literally every day. Just going back to submerging yourself in it. I feel like I can, you'll come into businesses like this and you'll have a mentor or a quote unquote upline that'll tell you all of the different things that you need to be doing to get to the level that you want to get to. And I feel like people will do them, right? But it's not because they want to do them. It's more so because this is what they're telling me to do that's going to help me to become successful. Mm-hmm. And I feel like if you really have a true work ethic and you really want to get to those places for yourself, mm-hmm. you're just going to want to do it. You're going to want to work hard. You're going to want to put in the work. You're going to want to, work harder than every single body. I can tell you you should be posting your business 10 times a day, which is, what I tell people, but that's just a numerical standard. I've never posted my business or things promoted my business 10 times. I never counted like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, cool. I'm done. It's more so like I look up and I done already posted my business like 15, 20 times today because I wanted to. I never set a standard for myself. I just knew that I want to put as much into this as I possibly can. And I'm not just going through the motions of the business. I'm more so putting my business in motion by putting in as much work as I possibly can because I want to, not because somebody told me to.
So is it fair to say obsession is a part of it?
Absolutely. You have to be super obsessed.
Okay. Now you're a young man, you're coming out of, you're college, all of that. There's a lot of distractions that could come into play. Socially, dating scene, you have a lot of distractions. Are you just built differently or are you more disciplined in saying no?
I bet for one, I'm married to the game. I'm married to my business, and it's like I asked my business hands in marriage 3 years ago, and I'm totally committed to it 100%. So it's like I can have distractions and things that come into my life, but it's always gonna be put on the back burner. Yeah. And I was watching. I don't know if you're familiar with Alex Morton.
Sure,
but
he's a friend.
Yeah, definitely. That's my guy. He was doing the training, and he was like, talking about priorities and things like that. And it's like it's always God first, God, family, your business. But sometimes your family and your business will even alternate. Yeah. Because it's like if you want your family to to be good and set and comfortable financially, right? You're gonna go hard in the business to the point where it's like, Mom, hold on, let me do this call. Like I'll call you right back. Because I'm gonna be honest, like I used to talk to my mom a lot more than what I do now, or what I did when I was getting to this point. For the simple fact that it's like I don't have the time right now because, Mom, I want to make sure that you're good. Mom, I want to make sure that your bills are paid. Mom, I want to make sure that I can send you money every month. Yeah. So sometimes people, I feel like God, family, business, but at times you're going to have those situations where it's God, business, and then your family, right? God, let me go do well in my business so I can make sure my family is straight 100%.
And in fairness to those of you all that are watching, Bryce Bryce is not married and does not have, you don't have kids either, right?
No.
So when people say God, family, business, they're usually talking about if you have a wife and kids,
Yeah,
you have to, and Bryce doesn't have that. So he can really do God, business, and family, and his family will be understanding because that's kind of what we're supposed to do, right?
absolutely.
You go to college, if you were in med school, they'd all be like, oh, we're so proud of Bryce. He's in med school. Leave him be. Don't bother my baby. He's in med school. Well, this is his version of med school, being incredibly successful in business. Share some stories with us of some of the people that you've been fortunate to work with, to develop and cultivate and see them blossom, including your older brother, by the way. Give us some of those stories.
So yeah, for one, you know, being able to, I'm gonna be honest, being able to grow up with somebody and, you know, they like your right hand man, like being able to be in a business, you know, with my older brother is like a blessing. And it's like, I'm not even the only one at a high level. Like he's making millions in the business as well. So it's like, for one, I think that's just lit. I mean, it's just a blessing.
From the
way that
same
everything,
family.
yeah, same family, same mom, same dad, same household. Everything is the same. It's lit. I'm gonna be honest. It's like, I don't, like, that's probably the biggest blessing. It wouldn't be the same without doing it with him. So it's just, that's lit. But outside of that, you know, people that I met in college, my line brothers, like being able to see them like get to the levels that they're at, like being able to do it for myself and my family is huge. And, you know, it feels good, but it feels a lot better seeing somebody, you know, that you know, or that you grew up with, or that you met in college, do the same exact thing for theirs. Like, I feel like I was talking about this on the training. Most people, you don't realize your growth, right? You look at yourself in the mirror every day and it's like, you don't realize it as much as somebody else on the outside. Like, you go around your family for the holidays, like your grandma always telling you got taller. And it's like, you may have gotten taller, but you don't even realize. It's like, grandma, I'm the same height. Like, she keeps saying, like, you getting taller. It's like, I'm the same height. But in reality, you know, she don't get to see you every day. It's like, you only get to see you every day. You only get to look in the mirror so you're not going to realize your growth. Mm-hmm. And so my growth is like getting to places, getting to levels. I don't realize it as much as I do, you know, people that are in my business or some of my friends that are growing, because I see myself every day. But every time I see them, it's like, yo, I'm really watching you transform into like a supernatural version of yourself. And they probably would say the same about me. But like, I wouldn't notice it as much as they would. So that's probably the biggest thrill. It's not my growth and my success is cool. It's great. But being able to be a front row to somebody else's success is like best seat in the house.
You know, in our profession, a lot of people talk about the difficulties and the challenges dealing with people saying no, or people quitting your business and all of that. I know you've experienced all of those things, but because of your commitment to yourself, because of your internal drive, your consistency, showing up, like you said, every day, you made a commitment to be married to your business, and you haven't wavered on that. I know it's hard for you to answer this question, but to the best of your ability, how many people do you think you have been able to impact indirectly? People that you never would have known, they never would have been exposed to the opportunity if you had quit, if you had given up on your dream, if you had gotten taken out by distraction, if anything had taken you off course. How many people do you think you've been able to impact indirectly, whether it's financially, personal development wise, or a combination of the two?
That's a tough one. I really couldn't put a number on it.
Let's say more than what? More than 100, more than 1,000?
I would say, you know, more than 20,000. I would say, you know, indirectly, just for the simple fact that, you know, now my business has grown over 20,000 people.
Yeah.
And, you know, if I'm thinking about, you know, people that I may have indirectly helped or motivated or inspired outside of that, yeah, I don't know what that number could be, but
Absolutely.
my goal is to, indirectly help billions of people one day. So
Yeah.
I know this is really only the beginning, and I'm very particular of things that I put on social media, and very particular of what I say to certain people in the conversations I have, because one, I know it's someone always watching, and you never know who's really watching, and you never know what you may say or what you may do or what you may post that could really help that one person that you don't know that's watching change not only their life but their family's life forever. So
Yes, 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 and yes. When I got involved, I had no idea of the power of what we do. I knew that there was potential. I knew that there was capacity. I made a commitment to be a student of the game and to learn the profession. And very much like yourself, in my first go around in the profession, building an organization of 140,000 people around the world,
sheesh.
I had a goal of 1,000. I just wanted to impact like I was like, if I get a team to 1,000, I was like, oh man, it's over. It's lights out. But and like you said,
Yeah,
those stepping stone goals. Once I got to 1,000, I was like, man, I can get to 10,000. I got 10. I was like, what if I get to 100,000? And for those of you that maybe you're struggling because you have some goals and they're bigger than you can even, you feel like you're lying to yourself. You don't feel in integrity because you have this big goal, but you're like, I can't climb Mount Everest, man. I can barely walk around the block without, dying of sweat. Just take it one step at a time. And if you just have, put one foot in front of the other, have a stepping stone goal. So if you're going to climb Mount Everest, you're going to run a 26-mile marathon, just start out with a mile, run a mile, and then add two. And then
definitely.
eventually you can get there. But you're listening to a gentleman right now, and I'm biased. I want you all to know this. I'm biased towards Bryce and his brother, his entire organization, because we share a common ground and our Morehouse experience. And Morehouse College is a place and a space that is incredibly special for individuals that understand the importance of community, leadership,
Definitely.
impact. And I'm a member of fraternity as well. It's Kemet. Kemet wasn't, they're not there now. There, but
Yeah,
we were the old school heads. But all those things, those brotherhood experiences, and then having the assignment to go out into the world and make an impact and create a legacy. Well, you're doing that right now, and I'm just super excited for you. I'm super proud of you as a fellow Morehouse brother. I want to make sure that people know what you're doing and get your story out there. Bryce and I are both ambassadors for the profession of network marketing. I personally believe, hey, network marketing is for everyone, but not everyone is for network marketing. Not everybody's going to qualify to do the things that we do, and that's okay. But just know that his story is just one of many of transformation and extreme impact and success. And the fact that we're sitting here today with you, and you've been in for 3 years, you said?
yep, 3 years.
3 years of hard work, sweat, commitment, dedication. I promise you, if you walked on virtually any high school or college campus, you gave somebody a proposition. Hey, listen, if you put your head down for 3 years, we're going to show you how to make a six-figure monthly income. I promise you, more than half of the people there would take you up on that offer. So we're not here
Definitely.
to it's not about touting the success that Bryce is having or whatever I've done or I'm doing now. It's just opening your mind to what's actually available, especially in times like these. So if there's anything that I didn't ask you that you feel like you want to share, any parting words of wisdom, comments, because we're talking to people that are 18 to 80 years of age, bald, crippled, crazy. Everybody looking for an opportunity. People are open. So anything that you want to share to that audience, please go ahead and speak, sir.
Yeah, definitely. I would say no matter what your goals or what your dreams are, they're yours, right? They're nobody else's. So don't fault yourself for wanting something, even if there's somebody that's gonna call you stupid or ridicule you or bash you for things that you're doing, because it's happened to me, right? It still happens to me today. And I think it's going to even happen more the more successful that I become and the more people that I help. And I think it's like that for anybody. The best thing that you can do is not give it any energy, right? As soon as you give it energy, that's the moment that you're fueling, the person that wants you to lose, or you're fueling the person that wants you to fail, right? You gotta for one protect your surroundings and make sure that you're only feeding your mind with positivity. David was talking about this literally yesterday or 2 days ago. When you look at the word earth, right, the first three letters is EAR, ear. So things that you're putting into your mind and things that you're hearing, the news and, people that are speaking negatively about you or whatever, you're allowing them to control your world, earth, your world, right? So it's like, you really, that's one of the biggest things. Like, you got to really protect your world. Wherever you want to go, there's going to be negative people, right? There's going to be people that are going to hate, be envious, jealous of you, right? But that's what they're there to do. They're really fuel to get you to the places that you want to go. You just can't give them energy by responding, right? You can't give them energy by reacting, right? So that will probably be my last thing, because I know we really didn't talk about that, as far as people, hating or not wanting you to succeed and things like that. It's going to be a lot of people like that all the way up. And even once you reach a high level of success, it's going to probably happen even more then. But you got to stay down and realize what the ultimate goal is. As soon as you give somebody energy, man, you're taking food off of somebody's plate that you could have helped during the time that you gave that negative person that energy. So, like I said, man, appreciate you for having me on. I think this went really well.
Absolutely, brother. Listen, I was listening to some of the things that you've spoken about, and I'm selective, as are you, in terms of the people that I want to partner with and support and endorse. And listening to you speak, I knew that you were grounded. And a lot of times in any world of success, it doesn't, whatever it is, sometimes people are not very grounded, but you struck me as somebody that was grounded. And listening to your story and knowing more of your come from, I get it now. I really understand it even more. And I'm excited for that. So again, what's the handle on Instagram?
I_B Thompson, BTHOMPSON.
I_B Thompson. Okay, great. That's on Instagram. I'm Ed Blunt, EDBLUNT.com, or that as well. But listen, ladies and gents, I'm excited that you're able to share this, take this and share this link with whoever you want to share it with, people that you want to get properly introduced to our profession in network marketing. If you want to get people inspired by a story of transformation, Bryce is one of those stories. He's a living leader making things happen right now. And we know we have relationships with some of the same people that are doing great things as well. And it's a small circle. So it's a small community of high achievers, but I believe everybody has an opportunity to become that and to be better than where you're at. So Bryce Thompson, brother, keep doing what you do. Appreciate you, man. Look forward to seeing you and your greater success and your impact around the globe. I know you're giving back as well. So keep doing that, and much love to you and your family. Stay safe, stay healthy. Keep that distance going until we get through this. And we'll see you.
For sure. All right. Thank you so much.
Take care, man.
Bye-bye.